Did you know that almost 40% of the carbon emissions around the world are related in some way to real estate? Hi, I'm KK. I'm the CEO at DataHat AI, and I'm trying to get our team around the world to work with real estate professionals in building management, in construction management, even the sales process. And we're using data and AI to improve sustainability, reduce costs, and help the single planet that we have. Let me walk you through what we are doing. The video you're about to see is actually my keynote presentation that I had to do at Future Proptech in Dubai, and I had to do it remotely. So there's a QR code on the top right hand side. You are welcome to try to scan this. It leads to Slido, and you should be able to put some comments or questions, and I will strive to answer them if you put them in there. The topic today is from data to impact with AI, talking about sustainability, talking about smart and profitable real estate. We're going to cover both the commercial side and the residential side today. So without further ado, let's get started. So the question becomes, why do we need sustainability? Well, take a look at this picture. This is a real picture of the Aral Sea, which used to be a large freshwater lake, one of the largest on the planet. And today it has these huge seagoing ships which are sitting on the sand bed. It's a desert with camels, literally camels resting under these huge ocean liners. Why did this happen? Well, this happened because we did something wrong as a race. Well, the Aral Sea used to be about 68,000 square kilometers big in 1986, and over a period until 2021, the second picture you see there is the picture almost today. That whole lake has become 8,200 square kilometers from 68,000 square kilometers. Now, what happened? Well, industrialization happened. This lake was used as a source of water for making denims. And if you don't know how much water one pair of jeans takes, it's 10,000 liters approximately. That's how much water it takes to make one pair of denims. Well, when we do development without thinking about the impact to the environment, this is what happens. You lose entire lakes over a period of 25 years. Now, coming to real estate turns out to be the world's biggest carbon emitter. And by some estimates, it's about 39% of the global energy-related carbon emissions come from real estate. Now, that's a scary number. However, the good news is we can do something about it with technology, with data, with responsible AI principles. We can actually improve the situation, and we're going to talk about how we can do that. Now, first of all, a quick introduction to myself. Who am I? I'm KK. I've been globally recognized. I live in Silicon Valley and in London, England. I run the Enterprise AI Board Certification. I have been Chief Data Officer at multiple large companies. Haleon, if you've used Sensodyne, Advil, Panadol, all of those, you know Haleon, Farfetch, luxury goods, OneFootball. I've been a leader in Ericsson North America and in Zalando and many other companies over my career. I've got the awards, the Global 100, Chief Data Awards, etc. And I have built systems across multiple industries to do AI and data many times. So I know a little bit about data and AI. And I have put together a team which is focused on real estate. These are AI and data people focused on real estate. It's a global team based out of Silicon Valley, London, and India. We're beginning to have a presence in the Middle East as well. And we build solutions primarily for real estate. We have pioneered end-to-end AI systems, and we'll talk a little bit about what that actually does today. Now let's talk about real estate and the sustainability challenge. Real estate is a big challenge in sustainability. And why is that? if you look at the consumption of energy, 40% of global energy, by some estimates, is spent in real estate today. 30% of global carbon dioxide is spent in real estate. And where is this going? It's going into the air conditioning systems, the HVAC systems, the lighting, and sometimes the insulation. Sometimes it's too hot outside and we're trying to cool it down. Other times it's really cool outside and we're trying to heat it up. In both cases, if the insulation is not good, then you're going to lose out on energy. Now, also beyond the operational cost itself, the actual construction itself is very carbon intensive. The production of cement, steel, glass, etc. Big, huge amounts of CO2 emissions happen with that. Cement alone, by some estimates, is almost 8% of global carbon emissions come from cement itself. Just the process of creating it and using it. So that by itself is really scary, right? The operations are hard. The building construction itself is very heavy on carbon emissions. But then there is a surprising thing on top of all of this, which is the inefficient building planning. What that means is as buildings happen, they just organically happen. And then there is sprawl, which means infrastructure is just added on. There are inefficiencies in the layout, and it's really hard to move things from one place to another. But what it ends up doing is it wastes a lot of resources. So it's a big challenge. But then again, if you use the right data and you use the right AI with the right expertise, we can create eco-friendly and cost-effective solutions. Now, here's one interesting point, which is that when we try and do better on the cost efficiency side, we usually end up doing better on the efficiency side, which means carbon emissions go down, and vice versa too. If we focus in on carbon emissions, we can do them cost effectively, so that the price is recouped. And I will show you an example. Now, let's talk a little bit about the data itself. The dilemma with data is that real estate businesses have data that is created, but it is not used properly. It may not be clean, it may not be easily available. We're not very strong on the IT side, and forget about AI and data itself. So what that does is there's fragmented data. Data is all over the place and not easy to use. So what we have done at DataHat is we have created these DHAI agents which connect these systems, they collect the data, and they create agents. We create agents that can help with solving some of these problems. Some of these agents are in the sustainability space. And so what we do really is we say, the simplest way to solve sustainability is to solve your data problem. So you start by collecting the data the right way, understanding what is actually happening in our systems, understanding the state of real estate operations. Then we start understanding where can we reduce that carbon footprint. What can we do to optimize the waste, reduce that waste? The process is the same as data and AI process in other spaces. So collecting the data, analyzing the data, getting the insights, getting the recommendations. What AI agents add then is the action as well. How do you take action with all of the information that you have collected? So as an example for ourselves, what we do is we usually target on the commercial side, we usually target up to a 25% savings on the operations cost. Those 25% savings usually come with savings in carbon emissions as well. We usually try to reduce the energy bill itself by 30%. Now think about it. If we are able to hit both of those targets, that by itself will reduce your carbon emissions heavily. And what we also do is with predictive maintenance, etc., we try and increase the life of the building equipment by 20% or more. Now, of course, these are ballpark figures. We can go deep into some examples and see what is actually possible and what is going to happen. Every situation is unique, but this is a great start. Now, residential real estate, we target reducing the amount of time and effort spent on lead generation, and we try to energize the sales teams so that they've got many more closures in much less time. That by itself saves energy as well. Now, let's take a little deeper look into smart AI space management. So, reducing the wasted emissions, wasted operations that we were talking about, having flexible and fair rental rates, etc., and increasing environmental efficiency. That's, of course, the name of the game. Now, how do we actually do this? Well, the hardest thing that we can do in sustainability is getting the right data, moving that right data, understanding who is manufacturing this product, how much is the actual emissions, what is the cost of it, what is the cost to the environment, all of these things. The space utilization itself, who's actually utilizing the space, how are they occupying it, how many people come in, what is the weather forecast, what is the energy rates, how are the energy rates changing, and then taking all of these things and analyzing, collecting, and adjusting that business equipment. That is what the improvement will come in through. Now, traditionally, building management has fixed maintenance schedules. You might have somebody come in and check certain things. We don't usually look at the weather sensitivity all the time. If you've got some automation systems, they might actually do that. And energy usage might look at occupancy sometimes, as well as peak rates. But if you can automate all of these things, then what you can do is you can prevent those emergency repairs, you can prevent the unnecessary downtime, and you can increase the asset lifespan. And that's how you can actually do a lot of savings as well as reduction in sustainable cost. And of course, in the facilities management, as an example, you monitor the equipment, you do predictive maintenance, and you do repairs during downtime. All of this is doable because you've got the data and you've got the AI that can actually do this. So let's take a real life example. I'm going to show you some screenshots. Unfortunately, I'm not there, otherwise I would have shown you this in live in real time. But I'll show you some screenshots of DataHat AI agents that are performing the analysis. There's a voice and video avatar and conversation in English and Arabic. And then there are sustainability targets set, and the system tries to do the best that it can with that. What you're seeing here is our interface. You've got the avatar. She can speak in English and Arabic with you, have a conversation. Your building itself is now shown as, this is a hypothetical example. So there is an Al Noor complex. It's got different offices, different things in different parts of the building. And then you've got a chat interface by which you can converse with it. And you can ask it for different things. The example you're seeing here is one of space optimization, AI-based space utilization optimization, and you can do many other things with it too. Let me show you one concrete example of sustainable AI. What I did here is I said, hey, for this building, for this specific complex, we want to reduce carbon emissions. Advise if we should do anything with the HVACs and what models would you want to change if you wanted to do that. So here's what the outcome came out as. If you read that carefully, what it's doing is, again, these are all made up buildings. This is not real buildings. We didn't want to show anything real in a conference. But what it's showing here is the total energy consumption, etc. It's walking through what the square footage of each building is and how much energy it's using. And then it's doing a full deep dive sustainability analysis. It's understanding the carbon emissions. It's doing the calculations for that. And it's doing a simulation to see what would be the output. Now, this is where you actually see the output. It's created a table for us. And this table is showing us what our current expenses are and current emissions are. And then it's comparing it against two HVACs. We haven't put real names there. We didn't want to point to any company. But it's showing two examples of two different companies with two different amounts of emissions. And then if you read the comments at the bottom, it's saying, hey, company B is the one I would recommend, even though it's more expensive. It's going to pay off for itself in a year and a half more than company A would. But over a 10-year period, this is going to have much more improvements in your energy utilization. And that's why it's really, really important. Now, very, very quickly, let's take a quick look at residential real estate agents. So in residential, we actually have lots of optimization that we can do because our sales processes are very, very simple. We have a wild goose chase. We have people calling people who don't want to be called. And what you can do is you can use AI agents to create a target persona, reduce the amount of work, reduce the amount of energy spent, understanding the lead requirements, creating the sales pitches, having these conversations with a smaller number of people rather than everybody out there, and then using sentiment analysis to make sure that we are doing it correctly. That's the way we save energy. And of course, we're not talking about doing robocalls. Please don't use robocalls. Humans don't like to talk to AI today. Maybe in a few years we might get to that point. So in summary, we have at DataHat AI a system that supports both commercial and residential. We also have a enterprise AI board certification. Those of you who had signed up for the event on the 16th in Dubai, just note it has been postponed because I can't be there, but we will do something another time, I promise, and we will be back with you. So I asked ChatGPT in closing, in the age of AI, what can you tell me? What will happen to real estate? And it said it's not just about location. It's about data, insights, and taking action. This is ChatGPT telling me, and I think it was pretty good. So I'll leave you with 3 key takeaways. The first one is good data is needed to drive good AI. Data is your strategic asset. Protect it, prevent it from falling in the wrong hands, and use AI in order to get the output. However, the human touch matters the most, and that is not going away anytime soon. Here's my QR code for following me on LinkedIn. Connect with me. You can send me an email directly at info@datahat.com, and I look forward to having a further conversation with you. Thank you very much, and thank you for your time.